Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon to all my students. Okay, continue from the previous lesson about resting blood pressure. So today we're going to do exercise blood pressure. So it's going to be very interesting because we're going to do a lot of activities. I will show to you about the procedures. So as you all know, there are many tests of getting information about the VO2 max. Especially in the exercise we are looking on clinical population, so meaning that it's referred to more disease population. It's not like elite athletes. So since that we focus on consider as disease population, so we need to consider different type of tests to measure your VO2 max. One of those tests that we recommended by ACSM as well as American Heart Association is 6-minute walk test, because the 6-minute walk test is basically the most simple test as well as easy to do for this type of population. Instead, if you compare to 2.4 running or if you compare to yo-yo test, which is more preferable for elite athletes test. Okay, so in this test, 6-minute walk test, why it's been designed? Because it's much more low intensity compared to the other tests, as well as simple and safe. So, what is 6-minute walk test? 6-minute walk test is the test that you ask subject or your client or your patient to walk in 6 minutes. As simple as that. Okay? Meaning that the person will walk through. Maybe you can have a look here. We're going to put one cone at the beginning. You see that? One cone at the beginning. Okay. So the distance it can be either 10 meters or 20 meters. You choose. If you have a long hallway, then it's okay. So maybe you can have a look here. It cannot be a zigzag hallway. It must be the straight hallway like this. So class, you need to find a way at your place. A very clear hallway which is no distraction. Make sure that the floor is clean, tidy and also safe for the person to do the test. And there will be one cone here, which is this will be the start. And then the person will walk through for the hallway here. And then it should be across the second cone. Okay, meaning that you cannot go over here. Should be over the cone and then go back to the starting position. So the 6-minute walk test is to test the ability of the person to walk, okay, not to run. So run is not allowed, so don't run. You need to walk as fast as possible. Okay, like this. In the time of 6 minutes. So an exercise physiologist, what you need to do, you cannot talk to them, but you can encourage them. Okay, let's move. So let's say this is your subject, my subject. So I will ask, say, I want you to walk through the whole way, turn to the cone, go back to the starting position. So I can encourage him to walk. Come on, you can go. Come on. So encouragement is allowed, but you cannot talk to them. Are you okay today? No, that's not allowed because it will affect the breathing pattern of the person. So the person can walk as quickly as possible. Okay. Alright. So that is all about 6-minute walk test. So in the next phase, I will explain to you how to do the test, how to set up the test, and what are the measurements that we have to take during the test. Okay, class? Alright, okay, welcome back. So I will show to you, as I mentioned earlier, about how can we set up the test. So this is the tape. So the tape depends on your place. If you have a normal one, it's okay, as long as it should be accurate. So what we can start on the first cone, you mark with 0, okay, you can have a look here, some meters, some feet, so choose meters, okay, choose meters. So you mark here as the first, okay. Okay, and then you can mark. So make sure it's exactly 10 meters. Okay. So okay, all right. Everyone can see that, right? So I would suggest that you have at least 3 cones, because another cones, okay, would be used as indicators. For instance, that the person walk and then they stop. For example, the time has finished for 6 minutes. So it maybe stop in the middle of the way. Then you have to mark with the cone. So mark with the cone, you can use the measuring tape to measure the last distance that the person covered. Okay? I hope it's clear to you. This is what we call RPE box scale. Okay? What is RPE box scale? RPE box scale is a rating perceived exertion scale which can be used during the test. So for the 6-minute walk test, I suggest that everyone should take the RPE box scale every minute during person having a test. So meaning that in 6 minutes you have to take 6 times of RPE scale of the person, not you, the person, the client. So you see the RPE box scale, they have scale from 6 to 20. So you see no exertion at all, meaning just above a sleeping, meaning that the person perceive about the activity that the person do. Exertion means how you feel the activity that you do, is that give exertion to your condition, to your physicals. So that is what the meaning of RPE. So make sure, don't make a mistake when you ask person, how do you feel now? It's not how do you feel in the muscle, because that is not referred to box scale. Okay? Box RPE, what we call that? Box RPE scale. The RPE scale is referring to how you breathe, how you feel when you breathe, and then you do the physical exertion activity. Okay? How do you feel in that way? It's not, some people they misleading when you ask them, how do you feel now? I feel not so okay. Meaning that maybe they give information about they feel not okay, refer to the cough that they feel. Sometimes when you walk too fast or while you're running, you feel discomfort in your muscle. So RPE is not referring to the muscle. RPE refers to how do you feel here from your breathing. Okay, how do you feel when you do the test? Okay, on your breathing pattern. So you see the RPE is giving you a lot of information that you can ask the client. So you can ask like this: when the person walk, then you can ask, okay, how do you feel now? In every minute, okay, at the end of the first minute, how do you feel? You point, where do you feel now? No, so that is a mistake. As I said earlier, you cannot say how do you feel now, meaning that the person will reply to talk to you. So when you talk, then it's not that what we recommended. The person has to point out. Can you point for me, where do you feel now? So let's say that you walk with me, can you point to me, where do you feel now? So good, 11. So don't point here, point to the number. Okay. So the key point here during your exercise or during your practice, you need to ask correctly. Okay, ask where you want to point out and explain briefly to your subject. Okay? So don't point here. I want you to point, where do you feel now? Is it okay to point on the picture? Yes, it's good because it gives you more information. Okay, and then explain to them what is RPE clearly and sufficiently, so then the person knows. So I give example. Okay, let's walk with me. So okay, can you point for me, where do you feel now? Okay, 13. So you can record 13. Okay, record every minute. Okay, class? Every minute. Okay, next to that, beside RPE, is the person heart rate. So when the person walk to you, so we can use radial artery heart rate. Okay, meaning that you need to find the correct way of getting your radial artery or heart rate. So don't do like this. If I see in your video during the assessment, this is a big mistake made by a lot of people. You cannot use your palm because your palm also has some pulse. So meaning that you are misleading reading the pulse. So what you need to do, you use your index finger and then pointed fingers. Put slide to your what do you call that? Your artery to the left, okay, to the right. Okay, so you can feel it like this. So when the person walk with you, let's walk with me. In the close to 1 minute, I will put my hand here. So what you need to do, you take about 10 seconds. Okay, count from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3 until 10, and then you can multiply by 5 or multiply by 6. It depends. If you take 12 or 15, you can multiply by number. But what you need to know, the heart rate should get at least equivalent to 60 beats per minute. Okay, mana 60 seconds lah. So you can use that. Why I encourage you to use hand method or manual method like this instead of using the automatic heart rate, because I believe that you don't have this. Some students, they don't have money to buy, but it's okay. It doesn't mean that you cannot do the test. So you can do manual way using your fingers, put the hand here, and then take it the heart rate. So let me clear with this. In the close to 1 minute, 0 to 60 seconds, you need to prepare at the 40 seconds. You have to prepare to get heart rate. Betul tak? So meaning that you have about 10 seconds to accurately get your heart rate. Then another 10 seconds, you get your RPE. So in every minute, you have two outcomes, two parameters. First, heart rate and RPE. Why? Some people who like have a disease population close to hypertension or heart problems or under medication, sometimes heart rate they cannot detect because they take beta blockers, for instance. The reading of heart rate is not accurate, so we can use RPE. So both actually you can use interchangeably. But for my subject, I will encourage you to take both, so then you can master the skills. Okay? Okay class, so we continue. Okay, test, you have to take the baseline of blood pressure of your client or your subject. So in this time it's much more challenging because the resting BP maybe it's much easier, the person are really very relaxing, but you need to take the resting now before the test start, and then while the person finish, immediately you take the post exercise blood pressure. Why we need to take blood pressure? Because blood pressure gives indication, contraindication to do the exercise test or not. If the person have higher blood pressure, for instance, so meaning that it's not safe for the person to continue the test or the measurement. Alright, so what you need to take before start the test. First, take the resting blood pressure. Second, take the resting heart rate. Third, take the resting RPE. And then, once the person start, only during the test, only heart rate and the RPE, not BP. Although there are many procedures suggested to take also BP, but for me, because I know that some of you don't have standing blood pressure like this, so and also maybe you don't have very clean hallway, so I think I will exclude taking the exercise blood pressure. But you have to take your exercise blood pressure before and after. Okay? Alright. So once the person finish do the test, okay, what we going to take? The most important is the distance. Okay? Because the 6-minute walk test to measure the distance of the person walk in 6 minutes, meaning that want to see whether the heart have the ability to do the function movements. Okay, so meaning that if you have less distance covered, meaning that you have relationship with the heart problems or heart disease or low cardiorespiratory fitness endurance. So we don't take much on the steady state heart rate compared to the other tests, because 6-minute walk test we just get the distance. I will show you later after this about how can we convert the distance, which is the meters of the person covered, to in relations to the scale of the person cardiovascular, respiratory endurance fitness level after they do this test. Okay class, so let's begin this test. So at the first position I'll show you, the person should seated. Make sure that you are reassure or let's calm the person before they start the test, because we want to make sure that the resting blood pressure baseline are really in the safety reading of the blood pressure. So this is what we call mercury standing of blood pressure, as I mentioned earlier in the class about the effectiveness of using this. Perhaps you are using the diet, it's okay for you for practicing that at home. So in this position, we need to take the blood pressure. So my technique all the time, what I'm going to use is I will put the hand like this on the shoulder. So my position should be facing the blood pressure. Okay. So why? Because I give more information about, more easier for me to see whether the reading are correct or not. Basically, it should be perpendicular to the eye level, but yeah, in this position sometimes the machine have limitation, so I will always squatting a little bit so that my eye can see clearly what is the reading of the resting blood pressure. So let's do it this, okay? Let's take resting blood pressure before we start doing the test. Okay, first we make sure this is the mercury level. So if we turn on or turn off, so basically they should be turned off if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that is mean it's still turned off. So once you finish using, you need to turn off. So now we are using this, turn on. Okay, that's what we call mercury. So you will see that. So we have to pump. Okay, the hand. Ask the person to put hand on your shoulders and use your palm. Okay, extend a little bit the elbow. You put the hand like this. Okay. Then use the stethoscope, as I mentioned, like the same method before. So the finger can press perpendicular to the brachial artery, and then your thumb can extend a little bit the elbow. So you can press this. So the systolic is 110, the diastolic is 70. I think we'll consider optimal resting blood pressure. So use this, okay, and then make sure there's no air on the car. Okay, clear, and switch off. Put it to the side, so at least you are not touching anything to the equipment, because this equipment, when you talk about mercury, is very sensitive. It's easier to leak if fall down to the floor. Okay, alright. So second is taking the heart rate. Let's say we take 10 seconds. Stop. 12. His resting heart rate is 72 beats per minute. For me, it's considered optimal. Okay, so it's not contraindication to do the assessment. Okay, you need to make sure that all these things follow the guideline by the ACSM, as I share with you in the laboratory manual book. Alright, last one. Okay. How do you feel now? Show me, where do you feel now? Extremely light, so it's not 6, right? Okay, alright. So for me, it looks nice. Steps or second procedure is explain to them clearly what is the test. Okay, we're going to do test today. You have to walk, not run. Do not talk to me. I will ask you to point out where do you feel now. You can put your fingers on the image or on the numbers every minute. The same with the heart rate. close to 1 minute, I will ask your hand, which is preferably either left or right, but preferably left hand because it's close to the heart. So the position that I will slightly walk with you, maybe you can stand up like this, but not chasing you, but slightly be like this because to ensure that you don't feel like I'm chasing you. So at close to 1 minute, let's say 40 seconds, I will ask your hand. So your hand, to give your hand so I can take your heart rate. Okay, heart rate, just for 10 seconds. And then once finished, I will ask you, show me where do you feel now. So, and then you can continue walk. So during the test, remember one thing, do not stop your subject or your patient, because we do not want to have that the test will interfere the performance of the person. So meaning that we can ask him or her clearly that you have to walk as fast as possible. Although I'm asking you to do all these things. I hope you can do the test as your best effort. Right. So second, third, to mention you earlier about there should be a chair. Okay, chair in the middle of the hallway or in anywhere. It depends on the person, because the recommendation made by American Heart Association, the reason that we put chair, if the person, let's say elderly, walk and then they want to stop because they feel muscle soreness or they feel not lethargic, sorry, they feel tired, for instance, tired, so they can just straight away sit, but the time will still move on. So because we want to take the distance in 6 minutes, meaning that if you have less distance, you mean the ability of your cardiovascular are not so good. So the chair should be prepared and ready during the test. Okay? So because this person is very young and healthy, but just imagine if you have subject who are very obese, when they walk too fast, sometimes they feel tight in the muscle. So you can tell the subject you are free to sit, take a rest, okay? But we are going to take time in 6 minutes to move on, okay? All right. Let's say this is person last minute. So now it's 10 seconds. So as a tester, I will prepare myself. So make sure the time is accurate, okay? So what I usually do is try to be prepared at 30 seconds. Just come on, you have done a very good job. Come on. Okay. So, maybe show me where you feel now. It's 13. Okay. Alright. You can start moving. So now you see some difficulty when you do the test, especially on the heart rate, because we don't have heart rate monitor, because heart rate monitor will make your job easier. So let's say the person stop, let's say, okay, 6 minutes here, stop, standing. So don't allow the person move, but the person can sit down. So you can 13 times by 6. Show me where you feel. Let's see. 13. Okay, good. So, basically, mark where the person stopped, and then you can start taking. 4.3 meters. So, okay, alright, let's say the person finished and then he stopped here. So, every distance one way is about 10 meters. Okay, so let's say he performed 33 lapses. So, 33 and then there is 33 here. So, what I can do first, either I take the shortest or the closest from here to here, then I minus 10 meters. So when I minus, I got 6.6. So in total, it's about 330 laps because it's covered 33 laps. I by 10 meters, 330 laps. Plus where he stopped because he don't finish the 34. So just minus by 4.3. So it will be the 336.4 laps. So we're going to discuss that. I will show you about the table classification. What is the meaning of 336 meter that he have done during his test. Okay class, I think I have covered done on all aspects during the test. So I wish you good luck for you to test yourself at home. Practice well because person who are not practice, actually they are planned to fail. Okay, so if you really plan well on yourself, especially for my subject, I think it's not a big issue for you to pass or even excellent during the test. So thank you so much. So enjoy your weekend.